Hey, it's Nick with Fit Women for Life. Welcome to the video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create the healthiest, most awesome version of tortilla chips. So we're going to be using a Food for Life organic sprouted corn tortilla to create these tortilla chips. And we're going to be frying in the only oil you should be using to fry anything with, especially your tortilla chips. We're going to be using coconut oil. So the only other ingredient that we need to create these tortilla chips is salt. So it's very simple recipe. All we need is tortillas, our organic sprouted corn tortillas, our coconut oil, and our salt. So before we start frying the chips, I want to go over why you want to choose sprouted corn tortilla chips, preferably organic. I'm going to give you 3 reasons, okay? So reason number 1. Over 90% of the corn that we consume in the US today is genetically modified or genetically altered. You generally want to stay away from genetically modified foods if you want to be healthy and lose weight. Reason number 2, the sprouting of the corn. So we have what's called phytic acids in things like corn, beans, legumes, and nuts and seeds. Okay, so the sprouting is usually accomplished through soaking. So you've heard of things like soaking your beans, soaking your nuts in order to sprout them. What that does is it removes those phytic acids from the bean, the corn, or the legume. And so phytic acids can inhibit the assimilation of nutrients and minerals of, in the food here. So what the sprouting does, it takes away those phytic acids so we can assimilate the nutrients and minerals that's in the corn in this case and in the rest of the food that we're eating alongside the corn, beans, or nuts. But we're going to focus on our corn today. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with our frying. Our first step is to add our coconut oil into our pan. So we're going to have the camera follow me. I'm going to bring my coconut oil with me. So we're just going right to the pan here. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it on. We're going to go about medium high, and I'm going to add about a cup. I just splattered that coconut oil. Alright, we're going to add about a cup to start with. I have a pretty large pan here, so you want to get about a ½ inch layer of coconut oil when you fry your chips. So we're going to let that heat up, and we're going to come back with step number 2. Okay, so our oil is heating up on the stove. Our next step, step number 2, is to cut the tortillas into our tortilla chips. So we're going to have the camera follow me real quick. I'm going to do 1 tortilla and then finish cutting them so we can finish off here, okay? So we can start the frying. So what you want to do is cut the tortilla in half. Nice half a tortilla there. Boom. And then put the one on top of the other so you have 2 halves. And then all you're going to do is cut these guys in half. And so now we have 4 tortilla chips. If you wanted to create more tortilla chips, you could cut each one of these in half as well. And then of course you would have 8 or 16 tortilla chips. 2, 4, 6, 8. You'd have 8 tortilla chips per tortilla. Okay, so I'm going to finish cutting the tortillas and then we're going to come back for step number 3. Okay, we got the tortillas cut up into our tortilla chips. Now it's time to start frying them. So I'm going to have the camera come over with me for just a second. I have 1 in there. So what I did before I added that chip is I added just a few pinches of salt. Alright, and that just helps get that salty flavor of the chip. So I'm going to go ahead and just start adding them. Alright, I'll just add a few here and I'll show you how I'm going to flip them. So notice how the whole chip is pretty much covered with coconut oil. Alright, I'm going to use these tongs to flip each chip in about 10 to 15 seconds. And so this one's already been on, so I'm going to flip that sucker and I'm going to keep it on for another 10 to 15 seconds. And then I'll flip it again for about another 10 seconds each side. If your oil is hot enough, you're going to go ahead and only need about 10 to 15 seconds twice per side and they'll be ready to go. You can also just take them out and judge them by how crispy they get. So they're going to look like they're still oily, but about 10 seconds or so after they're out of the oil, they're going to crispy up really good. Okay, so you don't need more than a minute of cooking per tortilla chip. So we're going to go ahead and finish frying these, and then we'll come back for our last step. Hey, welcome back. I just took the final tortilla chip off of our coconut oil, turned off the heat, and now I have a plate full of delicious looking sprouted corn tortilla chips. All I'm going to do now is come on over. I'm just going to add a little bit more salt. The camera can follow me. So I'm just going to add a little more salt. Just salt them up. And so for these tortilla chips, we're going to create nachos today. The video is just about making the chips, so you can actually do anything you want with the chips now. And you can even fry the tortilla completely whole to make chalupas. You can roll up meat inside and fry them in the oven to make flautas, or fry them on your coconut oil. You can bake them or fry them in the coconut oil. So the possibilities are endless when it comes to our organic sprouted corn tortilla chips, especially when you do fry them in coconut oil. Remember, we fry in coconut oil because it is primarily a saturated fat, very stable under all conditions, especially heat, unlike most oils that tortilla chips are fried in, you know, at the Mexican restaurants that we normally eat our tortilla chips. So this is a great substitution to use our organic sprouted corn tortilla chips in place of the more than likely genetically modified corn that you're consuming. So now we're going to go ahead and make our nachos. Thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about what other recipes that you can substitute and use the organic sprouted corn tortilla chips, go ahead and leave a comment at the bottom of this video. I'll leave a link to the recipe, the written recipe for our organic sprouted corn tortilla chips. And that's it. We'll see you for the next how-to video.